Hey, yes, we are live.
And we are live.
Yay!
Hello, everyone, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you are joining us from here today. My
Yes.
name is Dr. Glory Edozian, and I am the LinkedIn Visibility Coach. I teach women how to build visibility and thought leadership so that they can attract board roles and other top tier leadership opportunities. And today with me, I have this superior, what I can only describe as a superior guest, right? We're going
Woo!
as soon as we joined the call, we were backstage and we joined the call, we were just vibing already, and I just knew that this is going to be such an awesome conversation. I have none other
Absolutely.
I have
Absolutely.
none other than Coach BMO with me. And if you're just joining us, please feel free to join in the conversation. I always say with these lives that we are just facilitators having a conversation, but we want to converse with you. So feel free to join in. Tell me your name and what city you're joining in from, and I'll be sure to introduce you as well. Okay,
All
so
right.
hello, Yemisi. Yemisi, how are you? I see Yemisi.
Oh,
Let
okay.
me, while everybody is sort of introducing themselves in the chat, let me introduce my guest for today. So, my guest for today is none other than Bola Matel Oko. She's the founder and CEO rather, of BMO Advisory Services and Women Lifestyle Hub. And she's also a board member at Wema Bank. She's an award winning attorney, executive leader who was admitted to both the New York State Bar and the Nigerian Bar Association. Of course, you can tell she's a super achiever and has been honored as a peak performing woman, and also
Yay.
among the leading ladies Africa's 100 most inspiring women and ABCD Africa's 100 most impactful voices. She has been a
Mm,
non-exec director at Wema Bank since 2015, where she brings her expertise in corporate governance, risk management, and strategic planning, enriched by a world of top-tier institutions such as INSEAD, IMD Switzerland, and Harvard Business School. Please, without further ado, can we just
yay.
welcome guest here today, Coach BMO, to this amazing conversation? Please welcome.
Yay. Thank you for that amazing, amazing introduction. At the point, I'm like, who is this person? But such a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to be here. And you know why I'm excited that you are here? Can you guess? Can you
Yes,
guess why I'm excited?
yes.
So I'm excited because look, we're in International Women's Month, right? And
Yeah, that's true.
International Women's Month, and we're talking about something that's so important. And this
Mhm.
is the power of no. The
Mm,
power of no.
no,
I heard somebody said once, no is a full sentence.
absolutely. Full stop. Exclamation point. Yes.
No. I don't need to explain it. I don't need to justify it. Just no.
Exclamation point. Yes.
So let's get started. Let's get started. So
Okay.
everybody welcome. Oh, I have some people in the chat. Let me welcome them.
Yes,
Oh,
I see them. Coach MEC Peters,
yes, yes.
Minomi, Hilda Dixon. Welcome, welcome,
Fantastic.
ladies. Thanks for
Hilda,
joining.
hello, welcome.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us your name and what city you're joining in from so we can make you feel super welcome. All right, so we're talking about the power of no, setting
Mm,
boundaries and owning your leadership in
mm,
2025 and beyond. Right.
yes.
But I want us to let's dig several layers back, right?
Okay.
Could be, what is your experience as a leader?
Yeah.
In terms of what challenges have you faced
Mm,
with learning to say no
okay.
effectively?
So if I look at my leadership journey, there are two major um, things I would talk about when it comes to saying no. The first thing is that you want to be that nice leader that doesn't say no, that accommodates all everybody's request. And there was a time in my leadership journey that I did just that. Every time someone asked me to do something, I wanted to do it so that they would say, "Oh, Coach Biabo is so nice." Da, 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 da. But then along the way, you realize that it will take a toll on you to say yes to everybody, to say yes to everything. And then also there's that part of you that you feel like when I say no, I will miss out on an opportunity. right? So for me, those are the two critical areas I've had to navigate in my leadership journey, where I have had to say no. Okay, I know that, I might disappoint you, but at the end of the day, it just really doesn't work for me now. And so I say no unapologetically. And then also the opportunities that you say no to. And at the end of the day, when you say no to them, you open yourself up to better opportunities. So we have my son is the one that taught me this phrase, fear of missing out. So we have this fear of missing out on opportunities, and then we think, okay, every opportunity that comes my way, I'm just going to grab it. So, but you have to learn that not every opportunity is the right opportunity. Not every collaboration is right for you at that point in time. So those are the two areas that I feel like I've had to learn to say no along my leadership journey.
I think that just completely resonates with me. And when
Mhm.
I started my coaching practice, I was, I wanted to be everything and everyone thing to everyone.
Yeah.
And so I was always saying yes. Can you do this? Yes. Can you do this? Yes. I now felt burdened,
Yeah.
overwhelmed,
Hmm.
resentful. And I think that's when I realized the important distinction of being liked and
Hmm.
being respected.
Respected.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I found that when I said no because I was overwhelmed or because something didn't fit in my wheelhouse,
Hmm.
or just because it wasn't, I just didn't feel like it sometimes,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It gave me the space and the power to show up powerfully in the places that mattered,
Absolutely.
and that made me respected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I like what you said about you were not liked, but you were respected. Because as a leader, not everybody's going to like you, but it's important that everybody respect you. And so when people understand the fact that you are willing to have barriers, they might not like it initially, but they will grow to respect your decisions. Absolutely.
Fantastic. And I think another thing I came to realize is I was listening to somebody one day and they said to me, you know, in a room of 10 people, no matter what you do,
Mhm.
three people they are not going to like you just because of the way you showed up, your face, whatever, whatever. Two other people won't care. They'll be like, who is this one? Not bothered. Maybe the other five are listening. And and
Yeah,
there's, sometimes fundamentally there's nothing you can do about that. And I think the more we accept
absolutely.
that and then
Yeah,
just show up as who we are and be authentic, I think that the more powerful we become. So,
absolutely.
having said that, what are some of the practical ways we can set boundaries without
Okay.
feeling guilty or damaging relationships?
So with everything, I think it's really about the way you communicate it, right? I always say that communication is about sending a message in a way that the person you're sending the message to receives what you're trying to say, right? And for me, one of the things I would say to people is that, you know what, I would love to do it, but unfortunately, my schedule cannot accommodate it. Or I would say, you know what, I have such a heavy schedule now. If I do this thing, you won't have the best of me. And I found that people really are able to resonate with that. Do you want me to come and do something, but you don't have the best of me? Or you want to wait and have me come and do it when you would have the best of me, because I would have the time and the liberty to be able to do it in such a way that will bring the value that you want. Because with everything we do, it's about creating value. And so if I am able to communicate effectively to the person that, look, it's not that I don't want to do it, but I just feel like right now I don't have the bandwidth to give you the value you want. And also the other thing you could also, say to them is that, you know what, I might not be able to do everything you want me to do, but I can support you in other ways. Right? I can support you. I've had people invite me to speak at a conference they were hosting, and I'm like, you know what, I can't do it, but I will be willing to support you and be a sponsor, right? So I've created a boundary in the sense that I have said to them, I am not physically available, but I'm open to supporting you in other ways. So I find that doing those two things has been able to help me manage relationships, even at the times when I am not available to do what people want me to do.
I think that's such an instructive way of looking at things. Saying, okay, no to your request, but however, I'm opening to doing XYZ if this is what you need. One of the things that I've also been learning to do in this season is to respond to everyone. What does that mean? So um, there are sometimes when things are a no and you just ignore it. But actually,
Mm.
I've learned to just give everybody a level of respect where I will actually tell you a no instead of ignoring it and you'll be like, oh, she's not interested. So if you send me a speaking request, I mean, I don't get it right 100% of the time, but most times I will respond to say, I'm sorry, either I can't do this because you don't have the right budget, or I'm sorry, I'm not available, or whatever the case is, right? Actually give you a response.
As
I find
opposed to
that
people ghosting you. I hate
yes,
that.
yes. Because I hate it myself, and it happens so often. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
Gloria, you can't also be a perpetrator of this action. You
yeah.
have to you have to be different. So, and I find that for me that's been effective. But I really like your response as well. And somebody says it's not a crime to say no. Yemi C. Peter says it's not a crime to say no.
Absolutely. It's not a
Exactly.
crime to say no, you know.
I
It's
agree.
actually it's a leadership strategy. Yes, yes.
Explain. It's a
It's a
leadership
leadership,
strategy.
you know,
Explain.
it's so
Explain.
interesting. I did a post last week on LinkedIn where I said that self-care is not selfish. It is a leadership strategy. Because and why is it a leadership strategy? When you say no and give yourself time to rest, to recuperate, to develop, you are actually putting yourself in a position to give a better version of yourself. Right.
Mm,
So it is a leadership strategy because in saying no, you are saying, you know what, I cannot give you the best of myself now, but I will come back late at a later time and be able to give you my best. It is a strategy as opposed to going there and just not showing up in a way
mm.
that you would want to show up.
Mm, mm. I love
Mm,
that. I love that. But then how do we now distinguish what should get our yes and what
yeah.
should get our no? How do you distinguish that?
So, I mean, and this is really about vision, right? Because for me, I set like a timeline of things I want to accomplish at any point in time. And based on what I want to accomplish, some things I'm able to accommodate, right? And the other things that I pay attention to in trying to decide what I want to say yes to, or what I want to say no to, I have to understand that I have stakeholders in my life. And there are some things that, I cannot do because I'm committed to do other things with people that are in my life as stakeholders. Who are my
Mm,
stakeholders? My husband, my children, the people in my immediate circle. And so if I have a commitment that would not allow me do what I'm supposed to do, then it has to be a no. It has to be a no. So, and like I said, it's also about vision. It's about your vision. It's about what you want to do, your goals at any point in time. Some things help you to amplify your goals at that point in time, while some things do not really help you to amplify your goals. And so you can defer them, and deferring something is not a hard no. So there are some hard no's. I want to make a distinction. There's a hard no and there's a soft no. A hard no is like, you know what, I can't do it. Just like you said, someone wants you to do something and it's not within
mm.
the price range. Yeah. But a soft no is that, you know what, I can't do it now, but just give me a little bit of time. I'll get back to you. Right.
I think
So,
I like that. That distinguishing between a hard no and
and
it may be a possibly later, a no for now, but possibly later.
that's a soft
I
no.
think yes, and I also like the idea around stakeholders and the
Yeah.
importance of self-care. I think for
Mhm.
me, when I started entrepreneurship, there was this and I think it's same for career women as well. There was this rhetoric around work to like, sleep is for the dead type of thing, like work until, but now I think we are all appreciating our mental health and realizing that we are
Absolutely.
more than one thing,
Yeah.
and the need to be able to take care of this body, this mind, this
Hmm.
soul
Yeah.
that is doing all of this work, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the truth of it is that if we don't do that, we will break down. I remember this was almost 2 years ago that I just felt like I was spent. I had nothing to give to anyone. And I remember I said to my husband, you know what? I need to shut it down. So for 3 days, I shut down my laptop. I went away. I had only one phone that my husband, my children could, reach me on. And I just shut it down. And you know what? The world did not come to an end. I came back 3 days later, and nothing had fallen out of the sky. So because we
Imagine
always
that.
have this feeling that, oh my God, if I don't do this thing, then everything will come crashing down. It's no, the world did not come to an end. Someone told me that, look, if you push yourself, and you break down, The next day, and you are out of work. When you get back to work, there's someone else sitting on your seat, and that's the truth. So we have to listen to our bodies. We have to listen to our mental health and be able to do what's good for you.
Very, I think that's so important, so important. But then I feel also that women, we face this paradox, right?
Mm,
Where people, we are almost judged when we are maybe either a stickler for excellence,
mhm,
or we have this ambition on how we want things to be.
mhm.
And people give us labels, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, you are aggressive, blah 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 blah. But if
Yeah,
a man
30.
was that way, oh, the leader, that's leadership,
Yeah.
But for
Mhm,
women, we are called the B word, so many things. So
mhm,
how can, and so there's this almost pressure to be
mm,
agreeable, for women to be
mm,
agreeable,
mm,
to be
mm.
nice, to be soft. How can we navigate those challenges, right? And
Yeah.
balance being assertive without being
Mm.
perceived as difficult.
So, the truth of it is that in 10 years I've sat on the board, I have come to realize that people will try, they will keep, trying what they can get away with you as a woman. And at some point, if you just roll over, they will roll over you. But there are ways that you can push back in subtle manners. It's so interesting. I was doing a leadership program on Saturday, and this young lady was talking about how they were in a management meeting, and the gentleman who was running the meeting said to one of the ladies, "Can you get me coffee?" And she was like, "Why is she the one that has to get you coffee?" That kind of a thing. But these are the things that we have to deal with. And all these, labels about being assertive and all of it, I tell people you have to be self aware. You have to be emotionally intelligent to be able to use the right tone, say the
Mm,
right things. But at the end of
mm,
the day, whether you're using the right tone, you're saying the right things, people will still put labels on you. So it's really about being your authentic self, being true to yourself, and putting your most excellent foot forward at every point in time. Because people can argue with your tone of voice. They can say you are assertive, but they cannot argue with results. That's what I always say. People cannot argue with results. And I tell people the most effective way to shut people down is to have results. Because, like I said, you cannot argue with results, you know?
amazing. I love that you cannot argue with results. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in so many places where they will say, you know what, I can't stand XYZ, but they deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because at the
but
end
they
of the day, if you deliver, because when you don't, that's when you give people room to come and talk trash. Pardon my French, right? But that's true. But when you deliver, you do your job, there's only so many things they can talk about. Right.
What
Mm,
one of the things I've been learning in this season and trying to practice as well is tonality and just language, right? I feel
yeah.
like so many times no can be seen in a negative light, but there are
Mm.
somebody who was the person that said there are polite ways, and everybody's gonna have to pardon my French now, but polite ways to tell people to go to hell and they'll enjoy the journey, right?
I love it.
They'll
I
enjoy the
love
journey.
it. Yeah.
They'll take first class coach or first class plane ticket, ride the that kind of thing. Do you have
You
any ideas on that or
You
top?
know, my son said something to me the other day that really, speaks to what we're talking about now. He said there are times that the messenger can be more important than the message, right? So that means
Mm,
you might have a message to communicate, but the way you deliver the message is actually more important than the message. Because if your delivery is not right, then the message is lost in your delivery, right? So
so
that's
true.
something that we really have to be aware of, that like the tone, the manner, because I was talking before about communication is about trying to pass on a message and making sure the person gets the message in exactly the way you want them to. So when we are not doing it in the right tone, we're not doing it in the right words, then we're really not doing a good job communicating, right?
Completely,
Hello,
completely,
Maumi, I see you.
completely.
Yes, the most effective way to judge people else is result. You can't argue with result. Absolutely.
Results. You can't argue with results at all. So,
Yeah.
and speaking about negativity and tonality and connotations, can you share? Everybody sees no as something negative,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure there are positive outcomes from saying no. Has that ever
Mm-hmm.
happened to you where saying no ultimately led to a positive outcome in your career or personal life?
Well, I've said no to some positions or to some opportunities, and at the end of the day, I got a better position or opportunity. I've actually had that, happen to me a few times because at the beginning I talked about how one of the my experiences as a leader about saying no is thinking that you're going to lose out on opportunities, right? So, but it's about gauging the opportunity and engaging the opportunity. I talk a lot about seasons of your life, understanding
Mm,
what you are able to do in any particular season. I mean,
love that.
I'm in my 50s now, and a lot of things I'm doing, I could not have done it 10 years ago because my children, I was still busy with my children. So there are opportunities that will come up at some point in time that it's just not the right time for you. It's not necessarily the wrong opportunity, but the timing might not be right. And so you can pass up on those opportunities and then at a later point, be able to find something that works better and is actually more in line with what you want to do.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. I remember there was a time actually when I was starting my business where I had to let go of a particular client that I had
Mm,
been on retainer with them for over 2 years.
mm,
But I was going into a season in my business where I needed to concentrate and create my own products.
mhm.
And I actually chose not to renew with them
Yeah,
in a certain year. And, that was scary, but it opened up my life to so much more. So, and I think
absolutely.
that's the same thing you are saying. Sometimes seasons in your life, you have to be sensitive to say,
Mm,
this is actually the season to move and what needs to give in order
yeah.
to show up effectively in this season. I love
Absolutely.
that.
And talking about no, one other thing we've not really touched on that you need to say no to is some relationships.
Mm, mm.
Except, especially as you progress in your leadership journey, there are relationships that you have to say, you know what, this is not, it is soft no, it's a hard no. So, yes, I just thought I'll throw that in there.
No, I think it's very important, very, very important. But even
Yeah.
just on that, how do you decide
Mm.
what relationships? Are there any signs that you can use to say this relationship is going with me or it's not?
So it's really, I talk about values. It's so interesting because I was having this conversation with my husband just the other day that as you grow and, you know, because I have friends that I've known for like when we were 10, but as we've grown up, our values, we all have our values and values have evolved. So for me now, there's some people that they are going with me on my leadership journey because we have values that align, right? But there are some people that honestly, on some level, it's actually toxic,
Hmm.
because our views, our values are our take on life is so different that it's just really difficult to be in that kind of relationship in my trajectory as a leader. So I must be able to recognize that and say, you know what, as much as I would love to be in this relationship, it's really not good for me at this time,
I
right?
love that. I love that. I love that. Value alignment. And I think
Mhm.
that phrase can help you decide whether it's friendships, whether
Yes.
what relationships, whether it's work,
Mhm.
align with my values. I love that. I think that's so instructive. And I think that takes me very nicely into my next question around self-awareness, right?
Mm, mm,
Can we cultivate
mm,
self-awareness so we know
mm,
when to compromise and when to have that hard no,
mm.
right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes some things, you can make space for it, you can make room for it,
Mhm, mhm.
but where does self-awareness kick in? And maybe self-awareness and self-assurance, actually.
Assurance, yeah. So
Well,
self-awareness, is really having a good sense of what's happening around you, right?
mm,
And that's very
mm,
important, because in learning to say no, it's about being aware of what is going on around you. And I always give this example as a leader where you cannot be that so unaware that you don't realize that the people that you're leading are not following you, right? So it is very important at every point to be self-aware enough to know, am I these people leading me, are they that I'm leading, are they following me? So those
mm.
things are very, very important in the journey, in your leadership journey. So I mean, and honestly, the truth of it is that self-awareness also helps you to understand what is urgent and what is important. And there's such a big distinction. I always tell people about the Eisenhower matrix that talks about urgent and important things. And those are some of the things that will help you to understand what you need to say no to at any point in time and what you need to say yes to.
Hmm.
Mm.
I love that. I really love that. What is important? What is urgent?
And yeah,
Priority, right?
prioritize.
Priorities,
Yeah.
stakeholders, all of that. I think those are very important. But what would you say to a woman right now who is here struggling?
Mhm.
Because I think that many times the power to say no, yes, self awareness, self acceptance, all of that plays a key role. But also there is a level of ownership, right?
Mm.
Owning
Yeah.
your time, owning yourself, that
Mhm.
really plays into the ability to voice out a no.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what is your advice to women who are struggling to own
Mm.
their leadership journey?
I would say to them that they need to tap into their authentic self, right? Because I feel
Mm,
that the reason why we feel the pressure of acting in a particular way is that that is the way we are expected to act. But the
mm,
moment you realize that the only way is to, because trying to be someone you are not is so draining. I tell people, so for it's so draining. So for that person, you don't have to be who you are not. Because at the end of the day, like we said before, people either accept you for who you are or they will respect you for who you are. So you really need to take that pressure off yourself and begin
mm,
to say, you know what, I will be my authentic self. Does that mean that I will not be committed? I will not be committed to developing my authentic self? Absolutely not. We are Leadership is a journey, a continuous journey of self-development. But at every point in time, you want to try and be as close to your authentic self as possible. Because at the end of the day, that is what allows you to own your leadership journey. That's what allows you to be able to say no at any point in time because you know that that is who you are. So I think authenticity, because anybody who knows me, there are three things I talk about as a leader. I talk about leading with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. Because I've seen a lot of leaders that when you see them in some leadership forum, they are one person, and then when you see them on a personal level, they are different person, and at some point you get confused, you know. So that's why for me it's really big. I really emphasize being your authentic self because that allows you to say no, and people are not confused, you know.
I love that. I love that. Being yourself. Can we break down this authenticity? Because there's a lot of talk about being
Mhm,
authentic. And I
mhm.
think it's now becoming such a buzzword that the meaning is becoming lost.
Mm,
So
mm.
when you say authentic leadership and being yourself as a leader, what does that really mean?
So when we talk about authentic leadership, it's being true to your values. That's really what authenticity is. It's being true to your values. And when I talk about values, I always tell people you must have your three core values that are non-negotiable. So
Hmm.
authenticity, but what I find is that some people will begin to change their values to fit the environment they find themselves. But to be authentic is to be true to who you are, as in your values. For instance, I say every person must have three values that if they wake you up at night, you will be able to say, these are my three values. For me, my top three values are loyalty, integrity, and excellence. Not negotiable. So anywhere I find myself that would require me to act in a way that is not aligned with those values, I am not being authentic. That's really what it is. So being authentic is about being true to your values because your values are those are the things that drive you. Your values define you, right, as a person. So anything that would, for instance, I say I'm a person of integrity, and then I find myself in a situation where I have to tell half truths so I can be in that. It is so not in line with my values, and it just really makes me into somebody that I'm not. So authenticity is about being true to yourself, who you are. But I find that a lot of people change who they are to fit into situations they want to be in, right? So yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's so powerful. Everyone, I want you to just put in the chat what are your top three values?
Yeah.
Just put that in, like, just put it in the chat. Let's see. I think that's such a great exercise to do with ourselves.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of this conversation. I can't believe I can't believe
And it
time
looks
is
like we just went,
spent.
went so quickly.
Exactly. But one of the things I really want to know more about you. So I have some quick fire questions to give us some perspectives and just
Okay.
layer that on.
Fire
So my
away.
quick fire, right? A key lesson you've learned about the power of no, you wish you had known earlier in your career.
I mean, we've touched upon it, and that's like saying no. It's okay to say no because I don't have to be liked by everyone. Because earlier in my
Mm,
leadership journey, I wanted everybody to like me, so I said no, yes to everything. But yeah, I wish I could. I realized back then that I didn't have to say yes to everybody. No, no is a full
fantastic.
sentence, like you said.
So is a full
I
sentence.
love
Okay.
that. I absolutely love that.
The biggest myth about setting boundaries is
That is selfish. People say setting boundaries means you are selfish. That's so not
mm,
true. Yeah, that you're
oh
selfish. Yeah.
goodness. I feel like a weight just lifted off me when you saying that. I literally, yes, having
Yeah,
boundaries does not mean
it's
I'm
not
selfish.
selfish. It's
I
not
love that.
selfish. Yeah.
I love that. Three things you would never compromise on.
My faith, my family,
Mm.
and my values.
Oh, love it, love it, love. I love how these things are just rolling out. You don't even have to think about it. It tells
Yeah.
that this is what you are
Faith,
living,
value,
breathing,
my faith, my
eating.
family, my values. Never, no
Love that,
compromise. None.
love that, love that. A personal mantra that has helped you on your
Ooh, I
leadership.
love this one. Yeah. Play
What is it?
hard. Sorry, work hard, play harder. I say that
Hey,
all the time. Work hard, play harder.
I love it. I love it. Work hard, play
Play
hard.
harder. Yes.
Love it, love it. A critical habit every executive woman should adopt is.
Be committed to self development. Because, like I
Mm,
said before, leadership is an ongoing journey. So you cannot
mm.
stop and say, oh God, I'm a leader. Yay. You have to be committed to the process of self development.
I
Yes.
love that. I love that. And the final question, even though I can't believe I'm about to say this, the final question, I'm having so much fun, is a book or resource on leadership and all boundaries that you recommend to anyone listening right now.
So I went to my library and I was like, okay, this is 24 one laws. I mean, John Waxwell has so many books, but I love this one, the 24 laws of the irrefutable laws of leadership. Yes, yes, yes.
Mm,
So I would
mm.
recommend that to everyone who is looking to progress. Yes, allow me work hard. And we play hard. Work hard, play harder. Oh, this has been so much fun.
Love it, love it. This has been so much fun. And I love it because we've worked hard and we are playing harder here because we're having so much fun,
Absolutely.
but we are learning, right? We've learned about the
Yeah.
importance of our guiding values and helping us to decide how we say yes and how we say no. We've really honed in on the power of self-awareness, right? And
Mhm.
we've learned that self-care is not selfish, right? And
No, it's
it's
a
not
leadership
selfish.
strategy. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's not selfish to set boundaries. I feel like that one just lifted a weight off me
Yeah. Yeah.
immediately. We
Yeah.
also learned that no is a full sentence and that we should not
Bam, bam.
bam, no exclamation point. I mean, we've also learned about our values and about
Mhm,
not being afraid to be
mhm.
disliked and respect, but being respected is more important than being
And being
liked.
liked, yes.
Yeah. And we should stop chasing likes. We are not Instagram, right? We are human beings.
I love
We are
that.
human beings.
Stop
We are human
chasing likes. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly stop chasing
Absolutely.
likes, right? And we should just be ourselves. And I
Mhm,
think that really is a call to action to know who you are,
mhm,
understand your values,
mm,
understand what you will not compromise on, but also know your stakeholders and how they
mhm.
influence and thread into your life so you are able to
Yeah.
say yes and no as appropriate. Coach
Mm.
BMO, this has been amazing.
Yes. And we should do this again sometime.
We
Yeah.
should. This has been amazing.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for everyone that joined us. Yes, yes, yes. And all
How can we
right.
reach you? For people that want to reach you, that want to hear more, they're like, okay,
Okay.
these are some
Yes.
things
So
I'm
you can follow
learning.
me on LinkedIn at Bola Mataloko. Follow me on Instagram at Bola Mataloko. You can check out my website, bolamataloco.com. Everywhere you see for Bola Mataloko, you can check me out. So it just, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that one.
But
You're
what
not
about your,
on this.
I mean, coach? What are your coaching services? How can people How can
Okay,
they?
so I have different coaching packages that you can. They're all on my website, and I'm actually having a webinar today for some people who would be interested. You can. There's a link on my LinkedIn page that would allow you to join the webinar. It's called "How to Lead with Clarity, Confidence, and Authenticity." So I have a community of executive women, women's lifestyle hub, and I have a 6-week leadership program, which is a precursor to joining the community. But then I also do one-on-one coaching. I have a car executive program. I have a prestige coaching program, and I have a prestige plus coaching program. But all those things you will find on my website. And I look forward to connecting with everyone, either on LinkedIn, Instagram, or some other place.
Please run now to her LinkedIn page.
Please, yes,
Join the
yes, yes,
webinar. She has a fantastic
yes.
community, the Women's Lifestyle Hub. It's a real place where you can network and build relationships and powerful
Strategic relationships. That's how I like
yes,
to put it.
strategic relationships. I love that with other female leaders and executives, so that you are not alone in this journey. And I think that's very important as female leaders that we come together and build that momentum of influence. So fantastic.
Absolutely.
Ah,
Absolutely.
this has been amazing. Thank you to everyone that joined, and thank you so
Yes.
much,
And
Ika Coach.
hopefully, is it possible that we can share the recording of the live so that even people that didn't enjoy can catch up with it?
Oh, of course, it's going to be on
Yes.
my page.
Okay, it's
It's
going
going
to
to be
be
on
on
my
your
page.
page. So I'll just
I
share
can,
it. All right.
you can repost it or share it.
Okay.
Yes. So if
Okay.
you're just joining, you missed, but you
You
can
missed
still watch.
a big time.
Or you can
All
still watch it.
right.
All right, Coach. Let
Okay.
me let you go. Thank you so much for joining us, and to everyone else that's here. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.